Today, in the nerdy news you need to know about, we have a glimpse at how bad WB's financials are. We have new Pokemon starters, and we have a brand new Terminator 2 game. We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, February 27th, 2025, Pokemon Day. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the Pokemon Go-Getter, Tim Geddes.
Happy Pokemon Day to you. I've been reacting all morning, so I haven't seen any of the news popping off otherwise.
They hired everybody they laid off.
Oh, really?
Everybody in the video games industries. Everything's
all
fixed.
fit.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
WB games, like they're back.
Wonder Woman's back out tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Terminator 2. There's a new Terminator 2 game we're going to talk about today.
And I'm very excited for what that is because I had no idea.
I'm very excited for you to see because my thing was, the article that I'm pulling from mentioned something, and I was like, oh, and I was gonna blind react. We still are technically blind reacting, but I jumped to the middle of the trailer and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this.
Okay.
So, all right, it's gonna be a fun.
I mean, without knowing anything, like I've been thinking a lot for some reason about a game called Predator Hunting Grounds. You know what I mean? I don't know why. Possibly would you think about that game?
Because we are having a hit in review series right now called Alien vs. Predator in Review. That's right, you demanded it, and we are watching and ranking all of the Alien and Predator movies and Alien vs. Predator movies. We just did Predator 2 today, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames in review, podcast services around the globe.
Another banger episode,
yes.
Everybody. If you have not watched or listened to our Predator Alien series yet, please do. We're going all out, and so far it's been a fantastic time.
And thank you for showing up for it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Every week so far, different costumes.
We gotta have costumes.
Still not getting the invite for it.
Well, when we can buy 3 of the costumes, that makes financial sense. 4 of the costumes, that would break the bank, and we're not doing it.
I get it. But yeah, obviously been thinking a lot about Predator in a different way because I played like on 1 or 2 streams with y'all, but like not even for that long.
Yeah.
And I was so unfamiliar with the IP. Now 2 movies in, I'm like, oh, I get this so much more, and I really am so impressed by what that game was able to pull off.
Yes.
Like how authentic it was, and how a great use of that IP to a genre that was. And we've seen it a couple times now with Ilphonic, right?
Yep.
Whether it's Ghostbusters or Predator or Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Well, that was Ilphonic as well.
It was Ilphonic. It was published by Gun Media.
Yeah. But like, very, very cool use of fun 80s, 90s, whatever IP with more modern, very specific kind of video game genres. And it's like, then we see RoboCop last year that very different, but still, I think a similar example of like, hey, let's take an IP that means a lot to a lot of people, but isn't necessarily going to be the biggest seller of all time. But that's not the point.
But let's make it an RPG. A weird open world RPG.
But people liked it, though,
of course they did.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm very interested in Terminator 2. I mean, I assume it's going to be a Predator style game. But
okay, good. I'm very excited to show you this one later on. Yeah. I mean, we could bump it up. You want to just jump right into it?
I kind of do.
Kevin, I know. I hit up Kevin over here because we're having over on our screen only seeing YouTube chat, which he's working on because Kevin's amazing. Kevin, we're going to do a thing where we're going to do all the rigmarole, and then we're going to start with the Terminator 2 story, all right? Sound good, Kev? Love you.
That's great.
I'll remind you then that this is Kind of Funny Games Daily each and every weekday on a variety of platforms. We run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, Apple and Spotify. Podcast services around the globe. If you didn't like that, too bad. That's what we do here each and every weekday. We love you, and most of you love us. And if you love what we do, it would mean a lot if you picked up the Kind of Funny membership, either on patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple or Spotify. You can pick up the Kind of Funny membership, get all of our shows ad-free, and get a daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series we call Gregway, where I podcast from my car for you each and every day, unless Monica Lewinsky stops me, which is what happened yesterday, and you'll hear about it in today's Gregway. That's right, everybody. Don't worry. However, no bucks tossed our way, no big deal. You, of course, can watch live on Twitch, YouTube, podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, please like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, tell your friends. If you have Amazon Prime, you got Twitch Prime, use that to give us a free sub. Just to take care of us. If you want to be part of the show as we go live, tell me what you think of the Terminator 2 game. No Fate we'll talk about it here in a second. You, of course, can super chat on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. We would love that too. So you could be here with us. Housekeeping for you. We're an 11-person small business that's all about live talk shows. Some housekeeping for you. Like I said, the hunt is on. Answer the call of the wilds and join Greg Miller and the crew technically today, but Friday, February 28th for the launch of Monster Hunter Wilds. Greg will lead the crew for a marathon stream exclusively on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, where they'll stream for as long as you want to hunt. Also, play alongside the crew so you can jump in and help with hunts if/when the crew needs it. It's finally time. I know it's Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm excited for Zah. You know what I mean? It looked neat. We're going to talk about it. But it's fucking Monster Hunter Wild Day.
Greg, there's nothing like when a game you're excited for is happening. Like,
thank you.
There's an energy in the office that changes, and it's mainly because you have a lot of energy.
That's right.
And there's like a heat that radiates off of you.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's exciting. I think that people get swept up in it, and like it's just good vibes all around. You know,
well, it's rare that the game I'm excited for isn't dog shit, and other people are excited for it. You know what I mean? I could only push you guys so far when I was trying to get you into Avengers. You know what I mean? But then you get these random ones like a Predator, where everybody's into it. We're all having fun, like a Helldivers, which of course no one really was, because I'm the only one who put the right game of the year votes in, but nobody cares. It's no big deal. And then of course where we're at today, where we're talking about Monster Hunter Wilds. Like I said, today we're doing a long stream, so you can catch the stream today. Me, Mike, and a rotating group of guests going through as Mike starts his Monster Hunter campaign. Then tomorrow's the real deal. Today's going to be like as soon as this is done to like 5 o'clock, and then tomorrow is going to be I have the best wife/partner in the world. She's taking care of Benny tomorrow night, so I can stay here late, and I'm actually going to get to marathon stream like I've seen y'all do. Me pressed to the glass, Squidward looking out at Patrick and SpongeBob having such a good time out there. I'm very, very excited for it. Of course, I've been unsuccessfully scrolling back through assets, scrolling back through everything. Now I'm just going to bust out my phone. Because now that we're talking about it, of course, Monster Hunter is going to start rolling out tonight. I know a lot of Kind of Funny best friends are going to be out there doing it. I'm going to just go in and I'm going to read to you my numbers here, all right? Because I got numbers, all right? Hold on. I just saw it and then it went away.
Prepare for numbers, everybody.
If you're playing Monster Hunter,
it's just like Andy Sneeze,
and you wanna,
everyone's waiting for it.
Like
Still
legitimately,
waiting.
I just saw it and then it whooped away. Oh, there it is. So remember, my Hunter ID code for Monster Hunter, if you are playing tonight, is 8V4NT5DX. That's to be my friend in Monster Hunter. You can send that. It's cross-play. If you want to join the Kind of Funny Monster Hunter Guild, we can have up to 50 people in it. We currently already have 10. The Kind of Funny group is 4F9CD5KM. My hope is to get together a little cool looking graphic, because I had the photos of me with my dual blades from Capcom a couple months ago, and I want to put that in there with it, but there's no time and I'm not very talented with graphics, so it probably won't happen. But I'll eventually put that up on Blue Sky, and I'm sure as an Instagram story, and then tomorrow you could see it, this, that, the other. Slushy says only 50. Hey, talk to Capcom. But you can join multiple guilds. So even though this one will be filled up, Kind of Funny best friends are going to make other ones, I'm sure, and I will be joining those as well. So they'll be playing. And you can also be my friend, and we're going to be in the world, and we're going to be slaying, we're going to be having so much fun out there. Joseph said, Greg, about to awaken the Winter Soldier. Yes. Anyways, Monster Hunter, you're getting a lot of that today and tomorrow. Please hang out with us. Like today, you've already gotten, of course, the live reaction to the Pokemon Direct and a Gamescast as a Pokemon post-show. So in-depth coverage of all the Pokemon thoughts. We will do a top level here. So if we are your only source of news for the day, you understand. And like I said, the stream after this is going to be a long one with Greg, Mike, and the team playing some Monster Hunter Wilds. If you're a Kind of Funny member, I've already said it, you can get today's Gregway about Monica Lewinsky stealing Gregway from you yesterday. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Karen Lindener. Today we're brought to you by Greg Miller's live Chicago show and BetterHelp. But we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Your mic's dead. Time for some news. 7 items on the Roper Report. Yang Fam says, we need a Greg Sucks guild led by Paris. Sadly, he'll be waiting for them to send him a chair before he does anything in this guild. You know what I mean? Kind of that. You know you like that one. I saw you trying not to laugh, but you love it when I get Paris. He's just, too high on the hog, as they say.
Too high on the hog.
Too high on the hog. All right, so let's jump to number 4 on the Roper Report. Terminator 2D, No Fate. Terminator 2D, No Fate. I'm not even going to read the story. Can we just do a watch to the trailer, a live watch, a reaction to the trailer, please, Kevin? Thank you very much.
With like 2D game?
Wait and see, buddy. Reef Entertainment. Bitmap Bureau.
Oh, shit.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes.
Oh, my God.
T1000, T2, and then boop, D. An untold future, an iconic
Shut
past.
up, it's a platformer?
It's a side-scrolling, shooting the shit out of everything.
Dude!
Yes. This is gonna be the fucking tits, baby. This is gonna be amazing. I've never said that. Look at that Schwarzenegger dong out.
Nick is gonna be so excited for this.
Oh my God, this looks awesome.
As somebody who loved Terminator on Sega Genesis, this is so fucking awesome. I cannot fucking wait for this game. A Contra Terminator side-scroller. Sarah Connor's beating the shit out of people. Let's fuck up some hunter killers. Let's get them.
Terminated.
Humanity needs you. Will you answer?
Oh!
Terminator 2D, No Fate. I will read, it's coming out the 5th of September, 2025. Land Pitts at GameSpot has information. Terminator 2 is one of the most successful films of all time, and much like other R-rated movies of the time, spawned a line of toys and video games in the early 1990s. If you missed out on the original Terminator 2 video game, Reef Entertainment is bringing the T800, T1000, Sarah, and John Connor back for its retro-style shoot-'em-up Terminator 2D, No Fate. Taking the title from the famous quote, "No fate but what we make," from the movie means the future isn't predetermined, and the game allows players to decide the world's fate with multiple endings. Terminator 2D No Fate incorporates detailed pixelated graphics and the ability to play as the T1000, Sarah, and John in the present and future. I wonder if that's a typo. Because that's the T800, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I definitely see us playing as T1000, of course, the villain. I'm not saying he's not playable in it, but that's clearly a T800. I'm just, that's me. And then here comes the quote. Quote plays Sarah Connor and the T800 through a variety of thrilling missions as they take on the T1000 and try to put a stop to Skynet's plans before the human race is annihilated, the official synopsis reads. Lead the resistance as John Connor in the future, fighting on the front lines as mankind's only hope in the war against the machines. In this unique story, blending iconic scenes from Terminator 2 Judgment Day with original scenarios and multiple endings, humanity's fate is yours to decide, end quote. Some gamers might remember the notoriously difficult motorcycle chase from the original Terminator 2, and it looks like it's back again. If you, of course, have heard me on this show, not even this show, Kind of Funny, since its origins, you've heard me talk about the motorcycle chase that I was able to get to once in Terminator 2 on the Game Boy.
Of course.
And I was so excited while watching Family Ties, but I immediately died and never got back to it again. I'm excited to right some wrongs here.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I believe in you this time.
Other levels include Sarah trying to escape from the hospital in a very naked T800 taking on bikers to get his boots, clothes, and motorcycle. Scheduled to be released on September 5th, the game is launching on PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC via Steam and the Epic Game Store. Let's fucking go.
Hey, man, I'm really, really blown away by this. Like, this is not at all, clearly, what I expected. You heard what I expected a second ago. And while that would have been very, very cool for a lot of people, this is cool for me. And I'm so happy that we are at a point that I probably should have expected this to be an option because we're getting so many of these awesome things. Like recently, in addition to the IllFonic making such great use of
IP.
Classic IP for that type of game, we have been seeing a lot more of this. Like I brought up, not even expecting this, but now it even makes more sense. We don't know how to say it. .emu, .temu, I'm not so sure. Yeah. But Metal Slug Tactics, Turtle Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, those being more Turtles kind of both, but video game IP that are definitely older, not going to bust the world open in terms of sales and like, holy crap, this is like a major successful video game. But if we put the right budget and the right team and talent and passion behind something, we can create a success. And, we talk about AAA, indie, AA, all that stuff so much. I love that it seems like there's this, not genre, but like level forming that like there could be major success for these teams. And
of course,
Power Rangers Rita's Rewind being another one from Digital Eclipse. But then there was the other ones. Fuck, I forgot who made it, but there's the arcade. like it's an I forget the name of it, but like arcade something.
Oh,
and then, like,
with Evil Dead,
Evil
and,
Dead
Halloween.
Which I was super hyped for.
Retro Realms,
Retro Realms.
Retro Realms, Halloween and Ash vs. the Evil Dead. And the creators were Way Forward. Embarrassing. We could have ever Way Forward.
Of course. And that is, well, I was so excited for those. And I had a problem where when I got codes for the game, like I had access to the like realm, but I didn't have access to the games. And I had a little too much issue with it. And then I never went back. But I need to go back because I just love that. Again, I keep saying this, but it's that level of passion and talent and right level of support and budget to like make these things happen the right way for the audiences they're being built for. And looking at the Terminator, there's animations there in the pixel work that like the transferring of John from motorcycle to motorcycle. I'm like, that is the difference of, hey, we're the cash grab. We have an IP and we're just doing something. And like, hey, we want to do this right because we want to make a game that feels like you remember the Super Nintendo and Genesis games feeling like, right?
100%.
And obviously, me being the nostalgic fanboy that I am of that era, like I love that we can get new pixel games and new 2D side scrollers that have a modern level of understanding of what is exciting and hype and what we expect and want to see.
And what I mean, like again, what a great blending of genre, art style, and IP, because obviously this looks, again to your point, like what I remember Terminator on Sega Genesis looking like, even though it does not, right? It's this idea of like you can go back to something old, put a new spin on it, and be there and speak to us, the nerds and old guys now who want to see this. Fuck yeah, I can't wait for that. September 5th.
Yeah, and we're watching the PlayStation trailer, but it is, I was seeing in the chat, people saying it's coming to everything.
Don't be a blessing about this, okay? Because that drives me crazy. Because I saw Blessing do it to you today. Oh, it's Pokemon Day? And you're like, I started the fucking show saying it's Pokemon Day.
I know.
I came in the other day and to talk about DC Comics. I literally yelled about DC Comics, and Blessing goes, oh, is Greg, do you know the news? And I'm like, I'm here reacting to the news. And then you're talking like I didn't just read the final paragraph of this.
I know that, but I was about to make a point. I was talking to the audience, reminding them, as I've been saying here, Greg, if you would just fucking let me talk here, okay? This is a good thing because these games need to be on every single system.
But you gave the chat credit for that rather than me saying it. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, yeah, sure.
Do I need to bring the briefcase out here? Remind you whose house you're playing in? Whose yard you're in? You're in the big dog's yard. I'm the big dog.
One way. Anyway, point being, this is good. And another thing I want to bring up, because I will bring it up any fucking chance I get. Another group is Iron Galaxy.
Of course.
3 and 4. You know what I'm talking about. Ninja Gaiden, Streets of Rage, and so. A video game IP. Tony Hawk, obviously, a game from a slightly different era than that, but still a pull to like get that nostalgia grab and try to find the audience that it had. And you need to be on every console. You need to be pushing this out the right way, and them theoretically launching on Steam day one as well as Epic and all that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this because you look over at Ubisoft and how much they've been fucking up for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But they're essentially admission of fucking up. They're now going to be on Steam, right? Day and date for Assassin's Creed and other big titles. And it's like, this is good. You know, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we were just talking about how, you know, sales were underperforming when it was exclusive to PS5, but coming to PC, they're way, way up. And it's like, we can fix this, everybody. Games can be fixed. We just need to not make stupid decisions.
Yes. And speak to an audience. Approve a budget that is obtainable. Turn it around on a time cycle that you assume. I'm making a lot of assumptions.
Yep.
But I look at this and I go, this game shouldn't have taken this long. Kevin, what is with the zooms today? This game shouldn't have taken that long to look at. Not that it's not a great looking game. It looks amazing, right? But you assume they turned that quicker. So that the budget was probably set correctly and they don't need to sell 100 million units to be like, oh, this was a success. And this leads to us. I saw the chat saying it, your mouth to God's ears. This leads to us getting more Aliens games. This leads to getting Predator games. This leads to everybody going, oh, the olds love these things. We should keep making them. There's an audience for this. Like, and Digital Eclipse knows for sure. Okay. Well, that was fun. I'm glad you pulled that one up and we started off that way. High five. Fuck you for being so mean to me. Number 1 on the Roper Report. I have even more WB Games woes for you. We go to GameSpot.com.
I want you to know, Greg, I have never, in my entire 35 years of living, missed a high five that hard. Like I put force behind
Yeah,
that.
I got your ass.
And I was like, wow, you
I'm
got
in his
me
head.
there.
You see him try to
got
end the
me there.
Gamescast? You couldn't even end the game or the reaction stream? I was in your head. You can't. You see the stars. You know the bars are coming.
I hate it here.
No, the stars, the bank's coming. Whatever. Anyways, it's Eddie at GameSpot.com. Warner Brothers Discovery has released its latest earnings. Kevin, stop with the fucking zooms. Warner Brothers Discovery has released its latest earnings report, and included in the filing are details about the company's much discussed gaming business and how it's doing. And it's not great. The company reported quote unquote impairment charges of $50 million for the latest quarter and a $384 million for the latest quarter and $384 million for the full year ended December 31st, 2024. As announced previously, 2024's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League led to a $200 million negative impact for WBD's bottom line. WBD did not provide a full accounting for the $384 million in total yearly impairment charges. Impairment charges are defined as a process through which a company writes off assets for, among other things, tax purposes. Impairment charges can also pertain to acquisition costs. WBD bought Multiverse's studio Player First Games in 2024, only to just recently announce its closure. I mean, recently as in this week, alongside the shutdown of Monolith and WB San Diego. WBD reported that its, quote, games content expense, end quote, fell by 20% during the fiscal year, mainly driven by lower revenue overall, but offset by some impairment charges. Lower revenues were always expected in 2024, as Hogwarts Legacy in 2023 led to a huge surge in revenue. The game was 2023's best-selling title overall, even outselling that year's Call of Duty game. As for WBD's big gaming releases in 2024, Kill the Justice League was a disappointment, while Harry Potter Quidditch Champions didn't exactly break out in a significant way. Multiverses, meanwhile, failed
No
to...
shit.
Huh?
The Harry Potter Quidditch champion, like I didn't get to this point in the last story, but it's just like these games have the love behind them, and it's like this only works when there's actual good quality too, right?
Yeah.
This Quidditch Championship, that looks like the definition of shovelware.
True. Multiverses, meanwhile, failed to find a sustained audience and is shutting down this May. Batman Arkham Shadow for MetaQuest 3 was released in October 2024, but VR titles are not known to be significant revenue drivers, even though, of course, that game was great, winning a whole bunch of Game Awards and DICE Awards. And just, awards overall. I mean, Game Awards, lower G, lower A. I don't know how many it won at Jeff's thing, but I digress. In the earnings report, WBD said 2024, quote, was a disappointing year, end quote, for the video game business. The company said its recently announced restructuring, which included the closure of 3 studios, layoffs, and the cancellation of a Wonder Woman game, could help the company return to positive growth. During an earnings call, WBD management said 2024 was a real outlier year in terms of negative performance, following a positive outlier year in 2023 due to the oversized success of Hogwarts Legacy. Going forward, WBD is going to focus on 4 franchises in gaming: Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Mortal Kombat, and DC Comics. Of course, Wonder Woman is a DC property, but WBD said it will particularly focus on the Batman character. WBD management said the breakout success of Hogwarts Legacy gives the company the confidence that it can quote-unquote get back to producing high-quality games built for long-term consumer engagement. The company said it expects its video games division to return to profitability in 2025, with the game division looking to become a, quote, more significant contributor to growth in the years ahead, end quote. Timothy, thank you for standing by while I read all of that. I know it was a long one. It's an important one, and it's the continuing saga of WBD this week. From the breaking news to Jason Schreier from Bloomberg being amazing yesterday and coming in giving an entire rundown of everything happening at every studio yesterday on Gamescast. Thank you all for the love on the episode. Here we are with actual financials to back it up. Where is your head at when it comes to WB?
Oh, man, to WB. Like WB Games, WB as a whole, it's the same answer. This is a mess, and I do think that it's too far gone. Like, I feel like we are similar to Ubisoft. We are at a point where there might be band-aids, there might be some solutions to solve some of the problems, but I do think that overall there is enough damage done to the foundation of what we're talking about that we're not necessarily going to recover from this. A lot of different reasons for that, obviously, when you include the state of this generation of consoles and the pandemic and all of that. But then on top of it, the way that every kind of media landscape shifted as a result of those things. And you look at WB specifically, and the decisions that they've made and the properties that they own and the amount of investment they've put into them, you can't talk about WB Games without talking about WB's film slate and without talking about WB's partnerships with different TV networks or just kind of studios overall.
Yeah.
Because the money needs to go somewhere and it needs to come from somewhere. And those numbers need to then add up to a point of it all being worth it.
Yeah.
Or else more and more things are just going to be cut out of desperation. And I think that we're very clearly at that point. You look at the video games, and I think that it's not a surprise that we would all look at it and be like, it's been mismanaged. And
100%.
the IP, you look at the teams, you look at the rush and the drive for the live service in multiple ways when it comes to WB Games in particular. But what they did to Rocksteady will never be forgiven. And I think that is a perfect example of not coming back, like something that is just, we're really screwed. Because look, I have full faith that Rocksteady can and probably will make another great video game. The problem is, cool, when will that actually release?
Yeah.
And what landscape is that releasing in? And will they have enough resources and expectations be set correctly that even if that game is a success, that it won't end in the death of this company or whatever that looks like. Monolith is gone. I agree. I haven't been on a show to talk about this, but like to my first reaction when we heard the news was Monolith is one of the very few teams that when we come up with like predictions episodes for any showcase, it's the question of, is Monolith going to be there? Are they showing something?
They
is
have
Wonder
to,
Woman
right? They
going
have to do
at
something.
At some point,
Yeah.
we're going to see Wonder Woman again, or else the game's gone. And if the game's gone, that's bad.
Yeah.
The game's gone. It was bad. Monolith's gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild that we lost one of the biggest AAA developers, like a known quantity that there's expectations for.
Sure.
And expectations for talent that works with the biggest IP available, where we're not talking about Terminator 2. We're talking about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
We're talking about DC. Like, we're talking Harry Potter,
Game of
like
Thrones,
Game of Thrones. Like, there's much loftier expectations there for good reason, like built-in marketing, all of that stuff, an investment in the films and TV that then just promote all of it, right? The books, everything. And then, Rocksteady. So it's like, cool, we're down Monolith. Rocksteady is at the very least drowning and now needs to get ashore before it can start flying again.
Yeah.
You know? And that's their biggest ones. Even NetherRealm, who I feel like are the ones that have not
Quietly just doing Mortal Kombat, doing Injustice, doing great. Ed Boon out there shaking hands saying it.
100%. Having said that, I mean, I just looked it up now, and unless I'm missing something key, Mortal Kombat 1 has sold over 5 million copies. Amazing. The previous Mortal Kombat game's over 12 million.
Yeah.
Not that many years ago.
Yeah.
Those numbers.
This is speaking back, I think, to what Jason was really talking about yesterday, and to encapsulate and nutshell some of his conversations, right? It is the idea of, like, to your point of what you're talking about, the damage that has been done to these studios during David Haddad's reign, right, at the top of the games portfolio, where you do have all these studios where the leadership left. The founders left during this run, right? So Monolith going through that, Rocksteady going through that, then trying to get things back up, trying to spin up games, them announcing this Wonder Woman game, according to Jason, like 4 months after they agreed to start making the Wonder Woman game. So like nothing's ready. That game is going to be so far out to begin with, right? It is this conversation of how much can you right the ship? He's leaving, obviously. You have a new breath of fresh in there, but like, again, Jason was very yesterday bullish on like, oh, he sees them getting the chance. And I just, in 2025, am so down on every corporation and every CEO. And again, as a DC Comics fanboy, WB in general, and the mismanagement of DC Comics from film to games, like, I just don't believe that stockholders and shareholders and the stock board, the executive boards aren't going to be like, fucking flush all this shit and get out of there and trim it down more and sell the thing and da-da-da-da-da. And like,
And it's felt that way for years.
of course. Yeah. And so it is as always, just you want to believe a more significant contributor. But to your point, I'm sorry that I was driving at originally of, okay, Mortal Kombat still selling well, but not as well as the Mortal Kombat 11, was it, to Mortal Kombat 1? It's the same thing what Jason was saying yesterday, right? Of like, yeah, Hogwarts Legacy blew the doors off and did this amazing thing. Hogwarts Legacy 2 isn't going to do that. Jason says, I just don't see how that's possible, right? Because you have a market that got what they wanted, and there's not, so many new gamers came to that game are they actually sitting there clamoring for a 2? Could it sell that much?
I think
this is a Jason
yeah,
comment.
yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, who knows? I do think though that like, obviously there's patterns and stuff, but I feel like getting a Hogwarts Legacy 2 is going to like reignite that audience again. Like there is something there that like that wish fulfillment and like getting people to play games. Like so many people I know played Hogwarts Legacy. So many people I know would buy Hogwarts Legacy 2 the moment that they hear about it, right? There is that question though of like, all right, cool. So they have Hogwarts, they can double down on that. I think they're going to, and I think that is the right move for them. But I look back to 2017, 18, 19, all of that, and even the work from home era, the amount of times we talked about when is Xbox going to acquire WB Games teams? We talked about that so many times, and then that didn't happen, and Xbox then acquired literally everyone else, including Activision, and we would have never seen that coming, but it felt like a very real possibility when Phil was doing those tours of like going around. It was like, oh, WB Games would make a lot of sense for this. Where we're at now, it's like, I just don't believe that WB Games is going to have half of the studios they have in 3 years. What happens to them? Do they get sold off, or do they just die?
This is back to the problem, right? Am I buying a studio that I don't want to license the IP from WB? So I'm buying a giant studio, and I'm like Rocksteady. I don't know how many people it is. I'm sure, I'm just going to say 300. Feel free to correct me. Anykindafunny.com/you're wrong. But are you going to buy that, and then do you have the deal, the contract, the game? Like you buy that and take away everything they're working on. Like what the fuck do you do with it?
And that is a big question. But I do think that, especially at a point where Xbox owns a shit ton of IP. Yeah. Right. And there are other, you have license, you have access to things that don't need to be these WB brands. Because, like, legitimately, these WB brands at a certain point, I think we're just in a very complicated time because of the amount of toxicity and poisoning the well that has happened from a lot of different perspectives. Mm-hmm. What are the truly valuable brands that you can bank on? There's not many of them.
Yeah.
It's Batman. It's pretty much Batman and Harry Potter. And even Harry Potter, not in every way. You put out Fantastic Beasts, and those movies did not do that.
Quidditch Champions.
And Quidditch Champions, yeah. But like I would say that when the love and soul and all that and resources and everything, like I'm saying, like, for projects that are getting everything that they need to succeed, Hogwarts or Harry Potter and Batman, I literally think are the only two. Wonder Woman, Flash, Superman, Justice League. No. It's just no. And you look at movies and stuff, Batman works. These other things just don't have what all of those things lining up to make the amount of money necessary
to justify those studios,
to justify the value for all of that stuff. Like Flash, yes, a very popular character, but I don't see it making the money that it needs to.
Do we need a AAA open world Flash game? Probably not.
Yeah,
I'd be in Superman. I'd be as a Superman fan dying for something. I'd be excited for a Terminator 2D kind of Superman game.
Dude, totally.
Like, here's a modern version of Death and Return, or here's a modern version of the old Sunsoft. We're calling back to these games you remember from your childhood that were basic, but they were fun.
Yeah. And, not to be, to sound like Marvel fanboy side thing, to be clear, I think that with where we're at, Batman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, we're pretty much, that's it, y'all. Guardians of the Galaxy puts out a great game. Studio, gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moved on, migrated, whatever it was.
Yeah. Sold off. Yeah. It's rough out there.
Rough out there.
It's very, very rough out there, unless you're Pokemon. Number 2 on the Roper Report will actually wait while I remind you about the Kind of Funny membership. Remember, with the Kind of Funny membership, you can get all of our shows ad-free, the ability to watch me do my daily video podcast / regular audio podcast. If you like audio, it's audio. If you like video, it's video. It's called Gregway, where you hang out with me in my car and I talk about whatever I want to talk about. Yes, give me the Zoom now, Kevin. You want to come in my car? Want some candy? Predator 2 in review right now. Of course, if you don't want ads, though, you can pick up the Kind of Funny membership. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames. Of course, you get on Apple. Of course, you get it on Spotify. No matter where you get it, thank you for your support. But right now, you're not using your benefits. So here's a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by me, Greg Miller. Chicago, what are you doing Thursday, April 10th at 7 p.m.? The answer? Coming to my live show. That's right, Mrs. Miller's baby boy is coming back to Chicagoland and putting on a 90-minute, one-night-only show live from the Goodwin Auditorium at Benedictine University in Lisle. I'm mixing a bit of Up at Noon with a bit of my best Comic-Con performances with a lot of my Chicago influences. I'm calling it a late night with Greg Miller, and it's going to offer never-before-heard adolescent tales, an interview with one of my favorite bands of all time, a conversation with Millie Ramsey about growing up in the internet spotlight, your live questions for me, and of course, tons of fabulous video game prizes. Get your tickets now at kindafunny.com/Chicago. And hey, Midwest people, we never do shows out there, so this is your chance to see a Greg Miller stage show. Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, we always talk about how we love to drive as Midwest people, so hit the road for an opportunity you may never get again. This is a fundraiser for Benedictine University. That's right, my childhood best friend Poe's school. So get your tickets now at kindafunny.com/Chicago, and I'll see you on April 10th. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's always important for us to be aware of a relationship red flags we should avoid. But what if we focused more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself. Some of our best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who have experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, and it serves over 5 million people worldwide. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny, betterhelp.com/kindafunny. And we're back. Of course, as I said, today is Pokemon Day. Of course, we were treated to a Pokemon showcase. What was it? Direct
Pokemon
Presents?
yeah.
Today, where they ran through a whole bunch of stuff. You, of course, can check out the live reaction from the team over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and a Gamescast breaking down the nitty gritty of all of it on your podcast feeds or youtube.com/kindafunnygames. However, I do want to give you some bullet points from the top and then have the one and only Tim Geddes run me through what he thinks is important, okay? So, Pokemon Champions, a new game developed by the Pokemon Works in collaboration with Game Freak, continues the tradition of trainers putting their skills against those of others from around the world, with the goal of allowing core game-style battles to be enjoyed by more players than ever before. It will be available on the Nintendo Switch family of systems and mobile devices, with Pokemon Home compatibility, allowing players to use Pokemon from previous titles. Tim,
Yes.
you guys were like, what is this? Where you left now that you know what it is?
I mean, that's the thing is from what we know, incredibly excited.
Yeah.
More information is needed to see
Okay.
if this is the actual dream fulfilled. But potentially, at its best, this is going to be a way to have the competitive side of Pokemon taken even more seriously in a broad sense, allowing people, whether it's on mobile or Switch, to play competitive Pokemon and maybe get the competitive Pokemon out of the generations.
Okay.
So that when we're watching the World Championships, it's going to be in this.
Okay.
The use of Pokemon Home essentially means you're allowed to use all of your Pokemon from all of the different games.
Yeah, I, of course, am not the Poke expert here. I'm not a Pokemon master. I thought Pokemon Home, wasn't there a controversy about it not linking up to something?
That was Bank. So Pokemon Bank, well, I mean, the answer to your question, Greg, is yes and always. There
Okay. There's always
will
controversy.
be a new controversy.
Okay.
But Bank was the old version of what Home essentially was. It's
Okay.
like Bank was an older generation way of like DS and before of being able to 3DS and before to be able to you capture your Pokemon in any of the games, whether it's like Sun and Moon or Diamond and Pearl or whatever, and then you can store them like in Bank.
Okay.
That's what Home is now too, but Home now allows you to do it with all the previous generations, and it's where you kind of store all of your Pokemon. So having your Pokemon that you get in Scarlet and Violet that you train and get all the perfect IVs and all that stuff, to be able to then use them in this Pokemon Champions game. Very exciting. Like to see what this could mean for the future of the franchise and how serious they might be taking this. Keep your eyes on this. I think that's the thing there.
Pokemon Legends ZA is set to launch in late 2025 for the Nintendo Switch family of systems and takes place in Lumino City, where an urban redevelopment plan is underway to shape the city into a place that belongs both to people and Pokemon. Trainers will select their first partner Pokemon, either Chikorita, T-Pig, or
Tepig.
Totodile. Then be introduced to the series' first real-time battle system with timing-based mechanics. In Luminos cities, trainers will explore wild zones while using stealth or battles to catch Pokemon, while also encountering Pokemon capable of Mega Evolution, a powerful transformation beyond standard evolution that is key to battle success. For more information, blah, blah, blah. What do we think?
I mean, it's what I expected, and I think that overall that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Some things that I didn't expect late 2025.
Yeah.
Not necessarily upset with that though. Just I was saying this earlier, but with where we're at with Pokemon releases and where we're at with the 30th anniversary and Gen 10 looming, I think that they're going to really want to get those right. So for me, I'm more like, hey, push everything back. Look, let's make sure we focus on the quality here.
How do you feel about the real-time battle system from what you saw?
I'm very interested in the battle system. I'm a core guy at the end of the day. I want the gym battles. Like I want that experience, and Legends so far has not been that. I do like that this isn't like old-timey back in the day stuff, it being way more modern. Very excited for
I like
that.
the look of the world. I'm excited to play this. You know what I mean? Like I've told you, I've been watching Pokemon, got me to go back to Scarlet last year. I had a great time. I basically did it, but I didn't actually roll credits. And so I've been holding off on going back to Scarlet till I get this.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I feel like there's just a lot of good here. I don't think there's much bad for people that have been paying attention, actually actively playing these games, like playing all of them. It's like, yeah, this looks like what we thought. The trailer didn't have any frame drops or like chugs, which I think I was telling you like last week. Like that to me was the thing of if I see this trailer, I'm like, ugh, it's gonna be a real bad sign. And I didn't, but I looked at this, I'm like, yeah, it just looks like the old games but running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So it's
Yeah.
it's definitely by far nothing special. I love my boy Totodile, so I'm stoked on that. But yeah, overall for me, this one is like
You picking him as your starter?
absolutely.
I'm
That's
going
not
with the
even a
pig.
question. That pig, yeah.
Pig look cute.
Makes sense. But yeah, so this is it's going to be a big core game. It's coming out after the Switch 2, theoretically. But it's going to be a Switch SKU, and I think it's going to make people that play it happy.
Okay. Shout out to Trey Omega, who super chats and says, Pokemon Day birthday tax. Slept in, so I'm a little late, but I finally get to be part of the live stream. Happy birthday, Trey, and thank you for your super chat. More Pokemon stuff for you to know about. Pokemon trading card game Pocket celebrates Pokemon Day and surpassing 100 million downloads with the new Triumphant Light themed booster pack launching February 28th, with ranked matches being added in March 2025. Of course, if you log in from February 27th to April 29th, you can receive a special booster pack at no cost that are guaranteed to include at least one 4 diamond rarity or higher. Special missions will be available. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and the rest of the stuff is inconsequential.
Gotcha.
Little tiny, just like updates to Pokemon properties, whether it's trading card game or
So what was
Cafe.
again, go watch the reaction, everything else there, but general panel's reaction to this Pokemon Day, to this presentation was?
It was what it was. It
was
kind of
what it
just met
was.
expectations.
Sure.
I mean, we just needed to see a first look at Zod. We got that first look at Zod, but yeah, this is definitely not a must watch. I think that they got it down. Like they have a lot of products to update, and I feel like them and Sonic are in an interesting situation where it's just like they have things to say for an audience, and they keep delivering for that audience, but it's not necessarily like a very exciting showcase. And I will say, like, this was not the best Pokemon Presents by far. Like, I mean, Pokemon
Za?
Champions,
Okay.
like that genuine surprise with a lot of like, hey, this could be cool. And like, I feel like a lot of times things are announced in these showcases and like just kind of feel like, all right, whatever, and then take over the world. Like Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket was announced last year, if I remember correctly, and then everyone loved it when it came out. But when they announced it, it was like, oh, okay, a mobile game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough. Number 3 on the Roper Report, an interesting one. Eternal Strands teams up with Final Fantasy artist in No More Heroes Studio for free DLC. This is Matt Wales at Eurogamer. Eternal Strands, the well-received action RPG from Dragon Age boss Mike Laidlaw's Yellow Brick Game Studio, has shared its latest roadmap, promising, among other things, free DLC created in collaboration with Final Fantasy concept artist Yusuke Moji, and separately No More Heroes Studio Grasshopper Manufacturer. Eternal Strands, if you need a refresher, launched last month, inviting players to follow the adventures of Bryn, a member of a dwindling group of magic users known as Weavers, who sets out across a fantasy kingdom ravaged by a cataclysmic magical event to uncover its mysteries and recover her people's cultural home. And now, Eternal Strands' first month of release almost behind it, Yellow Brick Games is ready to start discussing its post-launch plans. And that begins with a Day 30 patch coming in March and promising a range of enhancements. There's talk of improved character movement to reduce the slippery sensation, for instance, as well as the improved combat responsiveness, reduced umbral darter presence in certain areas, bug fixes, and more. Sometime this spring, Eternal Strands will receive its first free DLC. This will see Yellow Brick Games teaming up with the Final Fantasy 6 and Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 6 concept artist. The Roman numerals, you know what I mean? I just wasn't prepared for them. To design and introduce new in-game epic and...
You also got those wrong, but...
Leave it to me. What
14 and 16.
Oh, fuck, right. I missed the X's altogether. I was hung up. Sorry. My apologies, everybody. Introduce new in-game epic. What the fuck does that mean? To design and introduce a new in-game epic, a new armor set, and new weapon skins. Eternal Strands Spring Update also promises a new map and magic power, a weapon and armor design and armor dyeing system, Oria's tips and tricks, plus further bug fixes. That'll eventually lead into summer when Eternal Strands' second free DLC update arrives. This is a collaboration with No More Heroes studio, Grasshopper Manufacture, and is set to deliver currently unspecified new content, among other things.
Sick.
I liked this one.
Yeah.
In terms of like Eternal Strands, the game we played, I enjoyed enough, but didn't love to see it all the way through or anything. But the idea of teaming up with other creators and studios for your DLC, that's a really fun crossover way to get in there.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot more of this, of smaller titles collaborating with some big boys.
Yeah.
And I think it's very cool. I think from both sides, it's very awesome to see, like, great marketing opportunity, obviously. But I also think that it's a very good look for, Creative Studio 3 and Grasshopper. Like,
For sure.
it just is very supportive in a way that I think all the publishers and devs need at this point.
Yeah, 100%, right. And again, for Mike Laidlaw and Yellow Brick Games being a small developer in the grand scheme of things, right? Cool to see him using these connections to go out, and I should say the studio using their connections to work with other people and do stuff. So shout out to them. Again, I liked it enough. I didn't want to finish it, but if the collaborations were cool, I could see me coming back and playing around for more. Number 5 is one that probably only matters for me and Mike, but I'm going to read it real quick. Could we get more college basketball video games? This is Stephen T. Wright at GameSpot. EA Sports College Football 25 was the biggest sports game ever in the U.S., according to Circana, and it seems that the publisher is considering bringing back its take on college basketball, which has been dormant for more than a decade. In a recent report from The Athletic, EA Sports Senior Vice President Daryl Holt said that college basketball and other sports remain a possibility, but reiterated that American football is still the publisher's main priority. Quote, there was a clear need, want, desire from our community, and the faithful were there for college football, he said. As developers, we try to figure out how we can get creative on reaching other aspects of sports, whether that be a smaller sport or one that doesn't have a game. But right now, my focus has been on American football. We'll keep looking at those things, but as developer and working in sports, you're always tapping your head going, what else could be possible, end quote. The last EA Sports published NCAA basketball game, NCAA Basketball 10, came out in 2009 and featured the now retired dunk contest champ, Blake Griffin, as the cover athlete. Obviously, out there at Mizzou, I was fucking about every one of the March Madness basketball games from EA. One shining moment. Like, just out, and of course, it was the same thing. Generic ass players. Now we could have real players in there and real names and stuff like that. I would adore that. Do I think it's a great move? Probably not. I don't know. The way for years we have all clamored for college football and to finally get it back, huge win. College basketball, you don't hear the same clamors for, in my opinion. Definitely not as loud as you did for college football. Because even back then, playing the college basketball games, like, it wasn't like my dorm room and then my Antler House room were inundated with people wanting to play college basketball with me, but when I got the new college football, everybody wanted to play that. So I don't think it's necessarily the best deal, but it's nice to hear them think about it at least.
Yeah.
I have another one for us to look at. Okay. I want you to use your peepers for this one, all right? Number 6, this comes from Ethan Gach over at Kotaku. I wrote, hey, look at this, a dating app for picking games. Ethan's report reads like this, and then I want to watch the video. What if finding the perfect game to play was as easy as swiping left or right on a dating app, minus the actual horrors of online dating? That's part of the new pitch for Ludocent? Ludocene?
Yeah,
We'll probably find out in 2 seconds when we watch the video. An app for game recommendations that uses humans rather than machines to tell you what to play. The other part of the pitch is turning personal gaming tastes into a slick-looking deck builder roguelite. Meet Ludocent. We got to get a better name. Web browser app that uses gaming experts to curate thousands of games users might want to play based on the ones they already like, as well as other factors like platform, genre, and other preferences. The project currently has a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter with the hope of launching the initial version later this year. There are three main components to building it. The first is human curators like my Perfect Console podcast host Simon Parkin and Videoverse designer Lucy Bundle. The second is a database of great games with over 3,000 entries categorized based on the team's input. And finally, there's a creative interface, a Balatro-like deck of cards you slowly build up by swiping based on what you look at and what you like and don't like. Can we please see it?
Help us solve the game discovery problem. With thousands of games released every month, it's so difficult to find the games you'll love. Our Ludicine app solves this problem like never before. It's a dating app, but rather than matching it with people, it matches you with games. It's a deck builder where you pick the cards that perfectly represent your gaming tastes, and then it offers you a stream of games to pick through to find your perfect next game.
Pause it there.
I'm Andy Robertson. I've been a video game journalist.
That's all. If you're an audio listener, you can't see the interface. The interface is very cool, I feel, of building off of. At the top, it is played favorites, so you already put stuff in. They recommend the game. You throw it away or pull it down, and then, of course, it recommends based on that or whatever. I think it's awesome. I think it's so cool. And as somebody who does sit down occasionally and go, all right, I'm in between reviews. I don't have anything. What should I play? What have I missed? I love the idea of, all right, cool, I'm going to go through this, and these are going to get recommended, and I throw them away. I put them down to do the thing. I like it a lot.
I mean, I think it's great. I think there's definitely an audience for this, and there are people that would make a lot of use of this. This is not for me at all.
Of course, it's not gonna be for
never
everybody.
once have I been like, oh man, like I don't know what games I like because like of what we do and like who we talk
but
to
here's my hope for it, right? Of like looking at it, I think this is for me going to be more about what's the Greg ass game. That's the indie on Steam that isn't working with PR that I didn't get the code. You know what I mean? Like I don't need it to recommend fucking Monster Hunter to me, right?
No,
I do need it to recommend like some game I've never heard of on Steam that I really want to see, this new horror thing that I haven't done or whatever. I like that idea of like keeping a new way to keep an ear to the ground for stuff that I would miss otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this is awesome for a lot of people, but I also just think that, in my opinion, like game discovery has gotten so much better, and like especially with showcases recently, like the amount of even indie devs that like put on killer showcases and show up for a bunch of even the bigger showcases and they're part of it, and we're like, oh man, keep an eye out on that one. Like I just feel like there's so many.
Mixed spring showcase coming up GDC week, don't forget.
Yeah, I'm not at a loss for like dope ass indie games and like discovery of like.
See, here's the thing yes, again, your perspective, and our perspective of watching everything. But even then, I add it to wish list and kind of forget about it sometimes.
I guess that's my thing. Is like I'm newer to wish lists, like with getting the Steam Deck last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and like with that, anytime I see a game pop up, I'm like I wish list it, and like I love the wish list. Like,
it's amazing.
I feel like I'm being fed a lot of the things that I want. And again, I think I just got in the right algorithms. But for people that aren't, this is awesome. More ways for people to discover cool games, only a good thing.
Yeah.
So I support this.
I do too. I backed on Kickstarter today because I want to support this because I think it's cool. You can go find out about it like through Ethan's article on Kotaku or search Ludocene. Ludocene? Ludo, Ludocene. Again, we need a better name. Thank you very much.
Help us solve the game.
Tim, a new app that matches me with games I've never heard of is pretty big news. But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about, where should I go?
Go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Number 7, the Wii News. I got a lot for you, everybody. Lots of bullet points today. Lost Skies developer Bossa Games has been affected by another round of layoffs with an unknown number of staff affected. That sucks, and our hearts go out to them. Apple says that this week the award-winning indie hit Balatro Plus gets 8 epic new card customizations. Hello Kitty Island launches a new expanded Ice Peak region. Wheel of Fortune daily introduces a brand new game mode, and Aladdin and Jasmine arrive in Disney Dreamlight Valley Arcade Edition over on Apple Arcade. GameSpot reports that Diablo 4's next event is a revamped version of March of the Goblins, and it's upping the rewards by permanently adding 6 rare goblin variants for players to hunt down, including ultra rare goblin that will reward a mythic unique item and a resplendent spark that can be used to make another. This is happening March 4th through the 11th. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle PlayStation 5 edition is targeting an April release date, according to Tom Warren over at The Verge. VGC reports that PlayStation VR 2 is getting a large price cut next month. Sony has confirmed that starting in March, the new price for PlayStation VR 2 will be $399.99. That's $400 if you want to round up. That'll be about a $150 price cut down.
That's a big drop
from when it was up at $550. That is a big price drop. Mm-hmm. Will it get you in? You come to play? No.
There was something recently that I was like, I'm going to need to borrow a PSVR 2. Oh, Midnight Walk.
Did you do it? You borrowed it?
I want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's over there in the Tupperware. Wario64 reports that for Forza Horizon 5 is up for pre-order on the PSN. $60 out, $429. That's April 29th. Early access for the Ultimate version on April 25th.
That's new, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm reporting it here.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the pre-order might have been there. Wow. Very.
Ben will be very excited.
Oh, yeah. Another way for him to play.
Yeah. Please welcome to the stage, everybody. It's the one, the only, the tastemaker, Roger Picorni, because our next Wii News is the first trailer for the Gex trilogy.
You a Gex boy?
And nobody was more excited than this young man.
If you're not a Gex boy, you're about to be a Gex boy.
Get ready for some tail time.
I feel like it should be my thing, but I mean, ironically, right? I
Kev,
guess I'm a Gex guy.
Can you cut the Wii News? I need this thing with audio.
Oh, what? That's how we looked?
In the first one, yeah.
What? Sweet. Like candy. Whoa. Is he like stealth?
It's a lot of different things. You know what I mean? It's like none of them that
the original
great.
Splinter Cell? Whoa.
Craziest thing, he has sex.
Because he has a kid,
Jr.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a canceled game. That doesn't count.
Native Lights.
Oh, it's like Godzilla, and I like Godzilla.
It's tail time.
Yeah. This is cool.
I was.
Are you a Gex guy?
I was obsessed with.
Are we
Gex.
playing
You kidding
this?
me? Look, no, it's not that great. Maybe
Okay.
though. You know what I mean? But no, just Gex as a character, like
he's
the
sick.
most Tim shit ever, dude.
Raj, it's tail time. Coming summer 2025. The most delayed trilogy of remasters that I've ever seen in my life. But
Let's
hey,
go,
we're
dude.
here.
Thank you, Roger.
Gex me up.
Xbox says that Xbox updates are rolling out with great new features. Starting today, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members can easily invite friends to join their Xbox Cloud gaming beta sessions with a single shareable link.
The future's happening.
Yep.
That's such a cool thing. That's the type of feature that educates others on like, hey, this is how it works.
Yeah.
They try it once, like, whoa,
Well,
this
you're fucking
works.
playing over there. It's amazing.
Very cool.
Plus, players can now enjoy more cloud playable games. The ones you own, they're adding to the library. Awesome. And your final Wii News is GameSpot reporting that Velen Studios' Midnight Murder Club will be taking hide and seek into some lethal places on the game's new early access launch date, March 13th. And that is it for Wii News.
Wow, we did it.
We did it, everybody. We're going to check in over here. There's no you're wrongs, even though I was like, how big is Rocksteady? Everybody said, I'm just going to do drugs and not answer you, Greg. Thanks for nothing, everybody. And we're going to go to Super Chat, see what's happening over there, all right? Jordan Fight says, Walmart sold me Monster Hunter World yesterday. Servers went up today, so I sent a friend and guild request. Then he goes, as soon as I get back, Jordan, I will add you, of course.
Hell
And then he goes, Portillo, ... Holy shit. I'll be hunting tonight as Clovis. Of course, my Palico.
Got it.
A cat, but I made it look like I named it Portillo. I made it all
dog.
brown.
What's
Then
the
my
difference these days?
then my Chocobo I named Cole, of course.
Oh, I like
Sacred,
that.
but you don't know what that means. So I'll
I get it,
boil
I
it
get
down
it.
for
Yeah,
you
translate for
in
me.
uncultured mass.
That's me.
Chocolate Fox subscribed for 9 months in a row and said, "Is Stars in the Bank gonna go down as one of the best pieces of content ever done?" Kind of funny. Tim's 4 stars are done for. And I did not know that blessing it upped it to 4 stars. That's great. That's great.
He didn't.
Huh. Well, this is different. You know what's going on over there. Shout out to Boots, who over on Kind of Funny
Boots.
Games gifted 50 memberships.
Thank you,
That's incredible.
Boots.
Thank you so
Hell
much
yeah.
for doing that and keeping our small business afloat.
Look at Boots' avatar image. 2 sets of boots.
It is. That's nice. Scarlet Libra super chat and said, not game related, but Tim, have you seen Halsey released a new single
Halsey.
today?
No,
Halsey?
I did not. That's very exciting.
And I got tickets for her at Chicago show in June.
Hell yeah. She is
Scarlet
a
Libra, do you have
hell of
tickets
a
for my
performer.
Chicago show in April?
You should do that too.
Big questions. And I saw in the chat, it went by. Someone said, too bad I can't go to your thing. Critical Role's got a thing going on. Critical Role, it turns out, is doing a Chicago show on April 10th as well.
Not good for you.
Not good for me whatsoever.
Well, maybe it's good news though, because they'll probably sell out and there'll be overflow.
I mean, that would be good for me, I guess. Yeah, in the long run. You know what I mean? If they that's actually you just changed the tenor of this phone call. I want you to know. We are going to go really angry. Now we're not going to be as angry.
Thank God, Tim. Thank God.
I'm still angry though.
Your call has been
Thank
forwarded to voice.
God.
Okay.
They
You know,
don't
I'm always
even
afraid.
answer.
Your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Travis Willingham, you fucking coward. It's me, Greg Miller, live on Kind of Funny Games Daily, and the fact that you're screening my calls really speaks to how cowardly you are. You can be so big, but you're too afraid to answer your fucking phone. I hope you're well. It's been brought to my attention that I'm doing a show in Chicago on April 10th, and you guys happen to be doing a show on April 10th as well. So 2 requests. It's an A or B choice for you. Either number 1, cancel your show. Or number 2, when you inevitably sell out your show, make sure change your URL to direct to kindoffunny.com/Chicago. So those people then can come to me. And you're actually in Chicago. I'm out in Lyle. I'm in the burbs. But it would help me out a lot probably because you are very, very, very popular. And we're a little popular, but you're very popular. So if you could help me do that, that would be great. And if not, a pox on your house. Good day.
Could have been way worse. Could have been way worse.
I see Wiener super chats and says, I'm missing tomorrow's marathon stream you guys are doing in honor of my birthday, but I see you and I love you. Can I get Mike to wish me a happy birthday? You're not showing up to the marathon stream. You're saying your birthday is so crazy and important that you can't show up for a 30 to 5 minute chunk. So if you show up for a 30 to 5 minute chunk tomorrow, I'm doing it in reverse because it sticks in your brain. Maybe Mike will wish you a happy birthday.
I'll wish you it now.
Are you Mike?
Happy birthday.
Mara super chats and says, when will we finally get an Alien vs. Predator vs. Terminator vs. RoboCop game?
Dude, remember when we got that PlayStation game that was like Jack and Ratchet and Sly and they're all together? Like, God, that was crazy. And it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like, God, that needed so much more love.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like at some point
We got to be getting close.
Right?
Yeah, but you got to have the right idea. You know, you got to have the right idea. Punctified says, I'll see you and Lyle, Greg. Maybe I can get my aunts and uncles to come too. Please do. They will hate the show. Logan super chats and says, love Mizzou, hashtag rock chalk. You're doing 2 different things there. I don't know what you're doing there. You know what I mean? But I'll take the first part. We're doing a Kansas reference. Yeah, you know, again, they have rock and they have chalk. That's how they teach each other. Yeah. Eat chalk, throw rock. That's what they say. You know what I mean? Then, of course, as I've said, the brothers have sex with their sisters and they make more Kansans.
Holy shit.
Alex J. Sandoval super chat and says, many know that Ludo means game or play, and scene means new or recent. So Ludo scene literally means new game.
We understand.
Counterpoint,
though, Alex. Many know. Many more don't.
Most.
Hey, I'd love to play that new video game app that tells me how to Ludo scene. Like, I get it. Hideo Kojima taught me all about Ludo. I'm aware.
Dude.
But come on, man. That's not a name that like screams, oh, that's what I got to jump in to do.
You got to name it something provocative.
Alex J. Sandoval, give us a super chat again and say you're sorry to us. You've made me mad now. And then final super chat until Alex says he's sorry. Krabby B. Patty super chats and says, can't wait to hunt with y'all tomorrow. Charge Blade main here. Oh, I'm looking forward to see what you got up your sleeve then, Krabby B. Patty. But I don't have to wait because right now it's done. I can cast off my chains and I can go out there and hunt with Snowbike Mike because it's time to kick off our first long Monster Hunter stream for Wilds. Over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We're about to kick that off and stream there because we're Kind of Funny Games and we're all about live talk shows all day long. That's right. If you love this, remember, we've already done a Gamescast where we recap Pokemon. We've already reacted to Pokemon. There's a Predator 2 in review up for you right now. And you can get all of our content on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, podcast services like Apple and Spotify, where you can pick up the Kind of Funny membership to get all of our content ad-free and to get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series I call Gregway. But for now, I no longer have to be around Tim. I get to go hunt. I'm sure he's going to go play some NES game. Ooh.
I'm going to go take a shit.
They added a new hill to Excite Bike.
Exciting.
Until next time, everybody. It's been our pleasure to serve you.